Hey, everybody. Welcome to another session of the Lost Coast podcast. Today, I have my guest is Peter Behn, and he's a small business coach. He helps businesses put more money on their bottom line and generate more revenue through some strategic strategies that he has. And welcome to the show, Peter.
Well, thanks, Cory. I sure appreciate the opportunity to talk to you.
Uh, listeners here are excited to hear what you got to say. So tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started in the business you're in now.
Okay. Well, I spent 40 years in sales, marketing, and product development in the packaging industry. I went from there to the recruiting industry. Found out that when I was in my 50s and looking for new opportunities, age discrimination was there, and there just weren't any opportunities. So I figured I'd have to look into another opportunity, if you will, and ended up being a corporate recruiter for 10 years. It was a great job, got a little tedious at times, but it was just really satisfying to be able to help a client, or I should say a candidate, find their new opportunity and affect their family. In fact, I had one candidate that sent me a text at Christmas saying, "Merry Christmas to you and your family. You sure made a major impression on my family this year." So there was something that the satisfaction there. So I retired and spent a year like many retirees, just kind of lounging around and enjoying the retirement, and decided, well, I got to do something. I've just been working all my life, got to do something. And originally I was going to go into developing a business where I would help baby boomers find new jobs to help them overcome the age bias. And unfortunately, we found out that we're just not going to overcome it. And I didn't feel comfortable charging people for something that I couldn't guarantee. And along came my opportunity now, WisdomWorks. WisdomWorks was actually the name of the company that I set up to help people find new opportunities. But I liked the name, I liked the logo, so decided to keep it. And now I'm in WisdomWorks coaching. I work with small to medium-sized companies to help them grow their revenue and, more importantly, improve their profitability. We have a proprietary software system that we use that uses 500 million weighted algorithms to analyze up to 40 different areas in a small business. Our goal is really to find areas where we can make small incremental improvements that can add up to a significant amount of money, in some instances up to thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars. In fact, we tell people that give us 45 minutes and we'll find $100,000 in revenue for you that you can achieve without paying any extra for advertising or marketing. So we found that that's worked very well. And so that's basically what I've been doing. I enjoy working with clients and helping them improve. And there's the satisfaction I get is when they can take days off or make some extra profits to hire people to take the weight off their shoulders, or just to basically fill their retirement account.
Now, these businesses you're helping, I mean, is there a certain size, certain age of the business? What is there some kind of criteria you have when you bring a business on board, or just pretty much every business, just depending on how and what you guys are going to do to help them and generate more? Because I mean, when you state you can find $100,000, well, maybe it's just somebody who's got a little garage out back. You're not going to find $100,000 there, I wouldn't suppose.
Well, yeah, well, we wouldn't, basically we look at a size range of about 500,000 and up, normally to about $5 or $10 million. That seems to be the sweet spot.
Okay. So what about smaller businesses? I mean, is there still hope for them, or you guys know your niche now and you've targeted in to where you're at?
Well, no, there's hope for them, just not, if you've got a $50,000 business, we're certainly not going to be able to find you $100,000 in revenue. So, we have to look at that. And the question becomes, a cost. Is it worth it to the guy out in the garage, to increase his profit $10,000 from $50,000 to $60,000 and, have to pay to do it.
Yeah.
The results just aren't there. Whereas as we go up, the opportunities are there. The higher the revenue, the better the opportunity.
Yeah. So you guys are taking the businesses through a vetting program before really you even accept to work with them, then more than likely, correct?
Yeah, basically we go through the software system, and what we do is we go through, we search for areas together, and we decide how much we think we can improve that area, but on a percentage basis. And then we kind of back it off to be conservative, and we say to them, all right, we can improve in this area, this area, this area, which could be cutting costs, it could be marketing, digital marketing, increasing pricing. Many small companies don't know what their USP is, their unique selling position. So they're just out there kind of flailing around. They don't know how to communicate to their customers what makes them better than the other guy. So we work with them to help them zero in on what makes them better, and then also to make sure that their employees know that and they can communicate that to people that they're talking to.
So you're not helping just the business owner, you're helping the business owner and the employees to make a whole bigger, rounded, more important company in more community-like situation. So everybody's involved in the process.
Yeah, basically, again, it depends upon the size of the company. A single sole proprietor is one thing. Oftentimes, you've got a smaller company. Maybe they have a chief marketing officer. So I might work with the owner to talk about, say, hey, you need to modify or to look at your marketing program. And then I would work with his chief marketing officer or vice president of marketing or whatever. And I think the big thing in the end is we work closely with them. Once we get to the point where we decided it's mutually worthwhile to work together and that I can provide assistance to them, we then go into a one-on-one coaching where we talk once a week for about an hour, and it can be with the owner, it can be with the chief marketing officer, depending upon who's responsible for the particular objective, if you will, for that week.
Okay.
And then we work with them again to hold them accountable, and truthfully to hold myself accountable, to make sure that I'm providing the value. And our goal is really to provide at minimum twice the value of what we charge. So a normal fee, depending upon the company, can be $2,000 a month. Our goal is at a minimum to increase their revenue or their profitability by $4,000 a month.
So it's a win-win.
Yeah, and it is guaranteed under the assumption that the business owner implements the plans that we discuss. And so that's a big point, but it's not just a fly in the dark, take a chance. We guarantee it.
I tell you what, that's pretty impressive because that puts a lot of pressure. I mean, puts a lot of pressure on you, but still the business owner has to put those situations in place that you asked them to, because if they don't do that, that kind of probably null and void is a guarantee, I would hope.
Well, yeah, it does. The guarantee is, I don't know if explicit is the right word, but it does say that you must implement what we discuss.
Yeah.
It's not, I'm telling you, we're jointly going to make a decision as to what you're going to do, and we're going to help you do it. And if you do it, we guarantee you're going to have results.
So, I mean, could this be as simple as saying, okay, we got a product here, say you're selling ice cream, right? You got a big ice cream chain or something. I mean, this could be as simple as raising 10 cents per ice cream cone or something. I don't know. I mean, is those kind of some of the strategies you look at if they're not got the profit margins that they need in the areas of the company?
Yeah, we start off from a profitability standpoint. We start off with looking at costs. How can we cut costs? Every business has probably got a little extra fat in it that we can cut out. That goes right to the bottom line in profitability. Then we further on down the road, we look at increasing pricing. And what many small business owners don't understand, they'll say, oh my God, I can't increase prices, I'm going to lose customers. And we show them, well, all right, you can afford to lose X amount of customers at this higher price and still be break even from profit standpoint. One example that we had was somebody that had 1,500 customers, and we worked through the program, increasing costs, and turned out that he could lose 500 of that 1,500 customers and still break even from profit standpoint. So every customer over that 1,000 is basically additional profit in his pocket.
Yeah, yeah. It reminds me of the bar industry, right? So the bars selling drinks, selling booze. You got your patrons in the bar all the time, and then the price all of a sudden goes up one day, a quarter a drink. They think it's the end of the world. They don't come back for a week because they're upset, but sooner or later they're all sitting in the same stools as they were before, and it's just
Yeah,
the way it works.
and many of those people just 25 cents here or there, they're not going to say, well, that's it, I'm leaving. And depending upon the business, somebody that's going to leave for a small amount like that or a small increase is probably not somebody that you're going to keep as a loyal customer. He's going to go to the next guy who's got the lower price, and the next guy.
Yeah.
And again, profitability is what we're looking at. We're not looking at discounting and trying to buy business.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's you got just a fair price for the fair product and what you're offering. So that's great. So you got started this and you like doing it. Now you're retired for about a year, you said. Then you got into this whole marketing thing. How long you been doing this now?
Well, I've only been at it truthfully for 6 months.
6 months.
And people say, well, how can you be of help to me with only 6 months of experience? And then I point to them and say, well, I spent 40 years in sales and marketing in small companies. I never worked for a large company. So in the small companies, you wear multiple hats. So I've been exposed to purchasing and logistics and, all those other things that go into be a successful business. That plus the fact that I spent 10 years as a corporate recruiter gives me insight into the recruiting process, into human resources. So I do have a well-rounded background. And I think as importantly is the software that we use. I mean, we just don't say do this. The software will help us set priorities. And basically what we will do is prioritize what comes first. And normally that's cut costs because that goes right to the bottom line. And then once we set the priorities, we set up an implementation schedule where we agree that, say, for week 1, we're going to work on digital marketing. And weeks 2 to 5, we're going to work on cutting costs and things like that. And basically, in the end, what people get a kick out of is the fact that we say, all right, this is what you have to do. This is how you have to do it. Now, do you think you can do it yourself or do you need help? And if they need help, that's where we step in and they say, well, yeah, I'd like your help. I'm running around as it is, and I need somebody to hold me accountable.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest piece of it, that the check-in point for the accountability purposes, like you say, for the client and for you to make sure what you're implementing is still working, and you guys have that, the communication piece coming on and finding the pain points and just the process of what you're asking them to do sometimes. I'm sure sometimes when you got a client and you've asked them to do some things, you've probably had to make some pivots to adjust some timing frames, of course, right?
Well, of course, it's not set in stone. There are factors that we work through together. Yeah. There's nothing that says it has to be done. Our goal is to do it as quickly and efficiently as possible. But again, things change in a program. When we work together with our clients, for some of my associates have worked with them for years. And again, we have to bring value every month, every year to the table. And we have been able to, again, thanks to the proprietary software that not only gives us the implementation schedule, but includes AI. And it also, what was the term I want to use? It also gives very specific instructions. We don't just say, all right, digital marketing, what are we going to do? You know, the system will generate customized instructions, if you will, for each one that might say, all right, you know, you want to look at discounts you can get from your suppliers, or, you know, can you get free shipping? And they give them ideas, if you will, to go out and find the additional monies that we're looking for.
Interesting, interesting. So yeah, the software does have a whole bunch of AI involved in it then. So it's analyzing the stuff all the time and all the information you're putting into it and probably making the adjustments as needed.
Yeah, and it is unique and it is proprietary to us. I truthfully, I license it, but it is a proprietary system. And
Nice,
it's
nice.
been proven to work in just about every business, which is why we guarantee it.
Yeah. Good. So what's your niche market? If I would say, you know, like a certain business type of restaurants, manufacturing, you know, what's the number one niche market you think
Well,
that you know that
my
so well?
my niche, you know, obviously this is applicable to any company out there, but my niche mostly is in the manufacturing area. That's where I can bring the most value because of my background in the area, in packaging, for instance. So I can work closely with companies where packaging can be a major part of their spend, and can work closely with them to make sure that they're buying efficient packaging, that they're, you know, that it makes the impression on the consumer that they're looking to, and those types of things versus a doctor's office. Many of my associates work with doctors' offices, and the doctors love them. They do very well. And again, I will work, I don't want to say I'll work with anybody, but my sweet spot is, again, the manufacturing companies that make products for sale.
Very nice. So then you're just looking at those, that's your background, basically what you grew up in then, or what you how
Right.
you yeah, yeah. So you're making the connection points, you speak their language, you know exactly what's going on, the ins and outs, and can hammer that right out. So you can analyze what AI is kicking back out and word the process now to the manufacturer and get them up and running faster.
For sure, for sure. And plus the fact that what I have is, you know, over that 40 years, I've developed quite a Rolodex, if you will. Well, that probably shows my age by saying Rolodex. But I've developed quite a number of contacts out in the market in the packaging area. So I have some people that I can go to for some expert guidance also.
Right. So it's not only your proprietary software, it's your Rolodex, your contacts. So you know if something needs to be switched, you can go through that Rolodex, you can find that company that can help them with this product, or get them something in a little cheaper realm, or the right connection point basically to help that proprietary product work together with your knowledge.
True. Yep. That's it in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's a big key point there, because I can come in, have your proprietary software there, I can punch all things up, but if I don't have the contacts to make all that kind of really come together in a strong point, you're gonna be way ahead of the game than I would be.
Yeah, oh, for sure. And we can help analyze their current sources to make sure that they're giving them the good deal and providing the value that all companies need to provide.
Yeah, I tell you what, that's a great combination there. Just to have the contacts in the software and putting them both together. Yeah, that's a great product. So our listeners today, I'm sure we've grabbed their attention on you've taught them some great stuff and some great ideas here. But how can they get a hold of you? And you know, where do they get a hold of you at? And then also, you know, what kind of give our listeners here something to drive in your direction.
Okay. Well, I guess the easiest way to get a hold of me is through my website. And the website is WisdomWorksCoach.com. And if you go through there, if you go to the website and hit the Contact Us button and ask for it, I have a book that I wrote that looks into 12 of the areas that small businesses need to look at and gives them some insight into those areas. And I'd be happy to send them the book. The website also has a simulator, if you will, where the customer can go in there and it's relatively simple, but it gives a good overview of what the system could do. And the visitor can go in there and type in various changes and see what effect it could have on profitability, revenue, and also valuation of the company. You know, many instances we work with companies where the owner wants to get out in a couple of years and wants to prepare the company for sale. And it's surprising, amazing how we can increase the value of the company simply by making these changes and increasing their profitability.
Boy, I bet everybody on here listening today, if you're looking at selling your business, you better contact Peter, because when you go to sell, that's going to be more money in your pocket. That's a win-win across the board, if you ask me.
Sure, and you can understand why I get so much satisfaction from it.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. You help somebody out, help their family, help their legacy, and all that hard work they put into their business. It just doesn't, just kind of. Sometimes people sell their businesses for pennies on the dollar because they don't know what to do.
Yep, for
Yeah.
sure.
All right.
So,
Well, Peter, kind of give us an example of uh, a current past client or something that you and your company has helped and made their situation so much better.
well, I think one of the best examples that I appreciate, and it's actually one of my associates, but one of my associates has been working with a small company for, I believe it's about 6 years now. And they've been working together, and they got to the point where they've pretty well taken care of just about everything. Everything was running smoothly, very profitable, so much so that my associate called up the client and said, I don't feel right taking money from you when we hardly ever talk. And the client said, well, you made me look like a star in front of my board of directors. Plus, I know that if I have a problem, you're always going to be there to help me with it. So I don't mind paying you, and I'll continue paying you, even though we hardly ever talk. And I think that's something that speaks very highly of our system and the people within that system.
Yeah, that's huge. If you've trained them so well that they're automatically doing it themselves, but they're still willing to pay you to keep you around, that's pretty impressive. That's really impressive, actually.
Yeah. And remember, these, depending upon the company, these could be thousands of dollars, depending upon what we're doing. Typically, a cost can be, and we have other areas, a cost can be $2,000 a month. So here's this person, she's paying $2,000 a month or 4 or 5 or whatever, and happily doing it just to have the opportunity to know that one of my associates is available when she dials the phone.
That's impressive. That's impressive, Peter. So on that note, remember everybody, get a hold of Peter at wisdomworkscoach.com. Okay. He's willing to help you and your business get things started. So you got any last words for anybody today, Peter, before we sign off?
Well, I think one of the things that I just want to say, and I want to stress, is the fact that, it's, if you're, how do I want to put this? Basically, what I want to stress is that, if you have a business, my mind is going blank here, Cory. You pretty well fried me after a half an hour.
I got you.
But now I'm trying to remember where I was. I apologize.
No, it's all right. If you got any wisdom words to give to our listeners today before we sign off here, that's all.
Well, I think we've pretty well hit it all. I guess one thing I do want to say, though, is that there's always the option as we go through these programs for the client to say, I want to take this and run with it myself. And, if they decide they don't want to hire us or they don't want to subscribe to us, we basically say, thank you. Here's your map. Here's what you need to do. Let me know if it doesn't work. And there's no harm, no foul. So there's no charge for initial consultation. And you are exposed to areas where you can save. As I say, we can generate $100,000 worth of revenue in 45 minutes.
Oh, you know, Peter, that's kind of interesting because that's the same way I look at our financial stuff that we do. We give them the roadmap. They have the roadmap. They can go put everything into place without us if they want. But
Yep.
that's exactly what we do too here. So, you know, Peter, I appreciate your time today. This was a great show. I think the listeners got a lot out of this. I know I did. So on that note, this is the Lost Coast Podcast. We'll be signing off, and we will see you guys all next time. Thank you. Bye.
That was great. Thanks, Cory.